think boxing-wise, he's going to give Canelo fits. I don't believe he can hurt Canelo. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful.
Things just need to be left unsaid. I understand he's articulating like his point of view, like, look, this is all natural work. We're just working hard at it. We're doing X, Y, Z.
You always wonder, well, people say that, no, Canelo was going down and he had had enough. That there might be an excuse for that. So.
Yes.
A. Smith addresses Canelo Alvarez's noticeably larger physique ahead of the Crawford fight, claiming it raises questions about how the size difference will affect the outcome. He acknowledges Crawford as the superior boxer, but warns that if Crawford cannot deliver enough power to hurt Canelo, it could spell trouble. Smith's remarks highlight concerns over the physical disparity and the potential impact it may have in the highly anticipated clash.
What I think my initial reaction would be to say that I think that Crawford would be the superior boxer, as great as Canelo is, as seasoned as he is, with 65 fights, if I recall, on his record. I think boxing-wise, he's going to give Canelo fits. I don't believe he can hurt Canelo. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. Again, Crawford is the superior boxer. But if he can't hurt Canelo, you can't keep him off of him. He says it's a legacy fight, and he believes he can do the same, and he wants to do the same against a fighter the caliber of Canelo Alvarez, which is why we haven't really seen him in the ring against anybody else. Unfortunately, that's the business of boxing. He's a victim of it, not a villain.
Eddie Reynoso, the respected trainer of Canelo Alvarez, has addressed the allegations that have followed him over the years regarding performance-enhancing substances in boxing. Reynoso has been accused in the past of providing or allowing substances to be used by fighters who train in his gym, but he has firmly denied these claims. He stated that his fighters, including Canelo, manage their own nutrition plans and that he does not interfere in their dietary choices. This clarification is particularly important ahead of the Crawford fight, as speculation often intensifies when a fighter's physique or performance shows significant improvement. Reynoso insists that his focus remains on training strategies, skill development, and mental preparation, distancing himself from any direct involvement in nutrition or supplement administration.
Eddie Reynoso says, starting now, I'll be working 100% with a team that I can supervise. I've let the boxers who have come to me to train have their own nutrition team. So all of these fighters popping because of their nutrition team. Eddie Reynoso is guilty by association, so you have to clear the shit up. That's what I was saying about Victor Conte when he came with his transparency. I'm doing the same now with Eddie Reynoso. He knows he has to clean that shit up. I suggest to Eddie Reynoso, if you're going to be 100% in control of the nutrition team, join Snack. They got hyper-exfoliated, futuristic, hydraulic chambers. Get Nello on Snack. Hey, brother, Nello on Snack with the futuristic 1.121 gigawatt, brother, please.
While Eddie Reynoso has coached several fighters, 7 by some counts, who have failed PED tests during their careers, he has made it clear that this does not implicate Canelo Alvarez. Reynoso has pointed out that each case should be considered individually, and that fighters are ultimately responsible for what goes into their bodies. In Canelo's case, Reynoso says he has always maintained a clean program and has been extremely careful about any food or supplement intake.
Boxing corruption at its absolute finest, but how does it connect to Eddie Reynoso and Canelo team? So Rodriguez Jr. failed his test after the Galal fight. He set the record for the most punches landed in that fight. It even prompted people like Sonny Edwards during the fight to say, this is weird. And yet, he will not be punished. In fact, he'll be kind of rewarded because he's going to get ordered an immediate rematch for the WBC belt. The only thing he's got to do is have a 12-month probation period with random testing. Now, WB are doing this because they have ruled it proven unintentional use. It just so happened he took stuff that was extremely beneficial to his conditioning. Here is the WBC official statement. Feel free to pause this and read it. But what's it got to do with these two fine gentlemen? Well, Rodriguez Jr. is part of Canelo team, and he was rumoured to be managed by Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso since came out and said, no, I don't manage him, blah, 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 and he distanced himself. Now, why that's important is because Eddie Reynoso has been connected to, I think now, 6 or 7 fighters who have all failed their drugs tests. The rumour around town, now this is just a rumour, and definitely not true, is that these two may have smoothed things over with the WBC, maybe used their position of power to get Rodriguez Jr. a bit of a lenient sentence, put it that way. Again, that's not true, I've just completely made that up. But what is unbelievable is a fighter nowadays can actually fail a drugs test and not be punished whatsoever. In fact, can be rewarded. Unbelievable.
Terence Crawford's strength coach has made a bold prediction ahead of the highly anticipated clash between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Speaking with confidence, he declared that Terence would break the beats out of Canelo and that the camp is fully prepared. His comments highlight the belief within Crawford's team that their fighter power, conditioning, and relentless work ethic will be enough to overcome Canelo's size and experience. The coach emphasized that their preparation is precise and strategic, targeting both strength and stamina to match Canelo in every department. This statement has added fuel to an already fiery build-up as fans debate whether Crawford's power at a higher weight will truly be enough to trouble a seasoned champion like Canelo.
Listen, I get a lot of texts asking how I'm doing, how camp is going, so I figured I could just put it up in one post. So I'm in the mountains. This dude's about to beat the brakes off Canelo and be the greatest boxer of all time, and I get to play a part in it. All is well, truly well. We good. I'm good. I'm real good.
Some analysts believe that the size of the ring could be a decisive factor in the fight. A standard-sized ring would allow Crawford to utilize his movement, speed, and tactical positioning to keep Canelo at bay. Historical fights have shown that Canelo struggles against opponents who maintain distance and employ lateral movement, as seen in his loss to Dimitri Bivol. Fighters who can keep Canelo chasing rather than standing toe-to-toe often frustrate him and disrupt his rhythm. If the ring dimensions favor mobility, Crawford's chances of controlling the pace and dictating exchanges increase significantly. However, if Canelo is able to close the gap quickly, the fight could become a much more physical battle.
The ring is standard size. I think Bud beats his ass all around the ring for 12 rounds. If Canelo want to come forward and get the whooping, that's what he going to get. But that's the thing. In that last Skull fight, he didn't want to take the fight to Skull. So if Canelo don't come to fight, I don't want to see Crawford stand in the middle of the ring and take that type of risk. Because Crawford, he talk about retirement, but he can still go on after this. So he ain't got to take that punishment. He can run it back with him. I don't want Crawford forced into a dogfight with Canelo. No, I think he going to whoop his ass off.
Veteran sports broadcaster Jim Gray has weighed in on the bout, calling it a great fight between two fighters with exceptional legacies. He praised Canelo Alvarez for his sustained excellence across multiple weight divisions and gave equal credit to Terence Crawford for his dominance in his own division. Gray's balanced perspective reflects the respect both men command within the sport. He acknowledged that the fight is not just a battle for titles, but also for legacy. With each man looking to secure his place in boxing history.
I think we want to see the best fight the best. And even though there's been a difference in weight divisions here, I think that, people clamor for big names and big fights and guys who are great to fight each other. So being for the institution, and I am for the institution of boxing, I think Canelo has been great for boxing, and I think Terence Crawford has been great for boxing. So how this is going to play out exactly, I don't know. Terence Crawford is older, and Canelo has, twice as many rounds? So I don't know how that combination ends up, the weight difference. Canelo's going to be a bigger man and a bigger frame and coming up in that weight. So I think it's just going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be at the Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play, and it's going to be filled up, and we're going to have a huge, huge night for boxing for the world to see.
On follow-up, do you feel like Terence Crawford has the style to cause Canelo problems?
Does he have the style to what?
Cause Canelo problems.
Terence Crawford's a great fighter. Terence Crawford can give anybody problems. Whether or not he will, I don't have that crystal ball. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Renowned trainer Abel Sanchez has expressed strong skepticism about Crawford's chances, pointing to the size difference between the fighters. Weight divisions exist for a reason, Sanchez explained, noting that while skill is critical, natural size and strength cannot be overlooked. He argued that Canelo's power at his natural weight class will be a major obstacle for Crawford, who is moving up to face him. According to Sanchez, Even a fighter with Crawford's talent will find it difficult to overcome the physical disadvantages in such a matchup.
As everybody has opinions, and my opinion is that I think Canelo will be too big for him. I think Crawford needed a little more seasoning, a little more seasoning of his weight, that is. He's had a year and hasn't had really any fights against those caliber fighters. The last fight he had a 154-pounder, moved up one division, and had a difficult time in a way that he wasn't dominating as he did in the lower divisions. And you talk about a guy in Canelo whose really only bad outing was at the Bivol fight. And Bivol, when I first talked about that fight, when they asked me, Bivol is a Gennady Golovkin just 15 pounds heavier. Same skills, maybe not the punching power, but very skilled. So anybody below 75, Canelo has dominated easily. After the 5th or 6th round, it seems to be sparring sessions for him. So I think that he does very well, and I think he wears Crawford out and wins a going-away decision. Crawford is an all-time great, obviously, but there's weight divisions,
Definitely as well. Abel, I'll leave it there, but I'll leave you with the final words. Any final words for the fans waiting to see you in the corner on Saturday night, my friend?
I'm very happy to be back. I retired for 3 years.
Legendary ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. has shared his view that in a fight like this, the naturally bigger fighter usually comes out on top. By that logic, Canelo Alvarez should have the edge. However, Lennon also noted that Canelo has not looked as dominant in some recent outings, leaving a window of opportunity for Crawford. This balanced take suggests that while size matters, recent form and fight strategy could still tip the scales.
Super fight in September, how do you see that fight playing out? Who are you leaning towards? Who wins that fight?
Yeah, I tell you, I tend to always think the naturally bigger fighter is going to have an advantage. I'm just, with the Crawford moving up, he was a 135-pound champion. They had 40, fantastic champion. 47 then, and then 54. Is 68 too much? That's really a big jump. But I tell you, a lot of people I respect just say, no, he's going to be favored on that.
Wow.
So I don't know what to say, but Canelo's a great fighter and a smart fighter, and two fighters in the pound for pound best. Getting it on. That's nice for boxing.
And if Crawford is successful, where would you place him in the all-time greats? Does he belong in the top 10, or you've seen so many fighters come across?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to say. But certainly he should be considered. He should be in that discussion, and people could argue that either way for a while. But if he does it, you always wonder. Will people say that no, Canelo was going down and he had had enough? That there might be an excuse for that. So, we'll see. But it'd be quite a feat if he does beat Canelo. That'd be amazing.
Shocker Stevenson, an undefeated and highly skilled champion, has expressed strong confidence in Terence Crawford's abilities. He has called Crawford the greatest in his weight class and believes his exceptional skills are enough to overcome even a bigger and stronger opponent like Canelo Alvarez. Stevenson's praise carries weight because it comes from a fighter with proven talent and credibility. His statement reflects the respect Crawford commands among elite boxers and reinforces the belief that size alone will not decide the outcome. Many within the boxing community share this view, seeing Crawford as a real threat despite the size difference, making this potential matchup one of the most intriguing and highly anticipated in the sport today.
When you first heard about this idea, when you first heard about it, what did you think of this idea of Bud going up to 68 to fight Canelo?
I ain't gonna lie. I've been putting it out since, I want to say, when he fought Sean Porter. Like back then, if you go watch, it's an interview out there. I had said I think that Terence Crawford would beat Canelo Alvarez right after he fought Sean Porter. So the idea, I've been thinking about it. I've been saying it before Bud even was saying it.
Why were you saying it then? Like that was a few years ago? Was he 160 or 168 at that point? But why did you believe then that was the right fight?
Because I just knew, like, as far as in that weight class, Terence Crawford is like the greatest. So I just feel as though with Canelo's style and like the style of boxing that he got, I think and this is before Bivol did it, but I thought like Terence Crawford was the only guy who I felt as though could have beat Canelo with his style.
Mm-hmm. So tell me if you think I'm wrong here. Like, I might have been more confident after the Spence fight when he threw a lot of right hands in that fight, was aggressive. Against Madrimov, he didn't throw a lot of right hands in that fight. And I've been saying for years that the only way to beat Canelo Alvarez, throw right hands. Gennady Golovkin did it, almost beat him. Probably should have beat him the first time around. Dmitry Bivol did it in their fight. Other guys tend to try to jab him to death. I don't think you can win fights
I was
jabbing.
about to say, I disagree with you.
That's not surprising at all.
Former world champion Sean Porter has offered detailed observations on Terence Crawford's recent physical transformation ahead of his showdown with Canelo Alvarez. After meeting Crawford in person, Porter noted that his legs appeared especially thick, powerful, and well-proportioned, indicating targeted lower body training. He emphasized that Crawford's weight gain was evenly distributed with no disproportion between the upper and lower body, a sign of careful conditioning and nutrition. Porter also analyzed Crawford's movement, pointing out that despite the added mass, his speed and agility remained intact, an impressive feat when moving up in weight. In Porter's view, maintaining that quickness while adding strength could be a decisive advantage against Canelo, particularly if Crawford uses his mobility to offset the Mexican champion's size and power. His comments add credibility to the idea that Crawford's camp has executed a precise and disciplined plan to ensure peak performance on fight night.
You guys, one reason you give Crawford a good chance at winning this fight is talking about Canelo has to have his feet set to deliver his power shots. Crawford making him pick his feet up. At 38 years old, putting on 14 pounds to go from 54 to 68, 38 years old, do you think his legs will be able to have the advantage that people that are picking him and thinking he could win this fight, will they have the advantage that they believe he will have at 38, putting on 14 pounds to those legs?
I looked at my business partner Malcolm while we were there. I said, "Yo, look at his legs." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah." I said, "They're thick. They're in shape. They look very strong." If anybody out there that want to act funny about what I just said, that's my job as a former athlete, as an analyst. I have to analyze everything, right? So I have to analyze how's his weight now distributed across your body.
His body, right?
Is it distributed a little too much right here in the midsection? Are the legs too thick? And now I'm not seeing the muscle pop and things of that nature. The dude is doing all of the right things. They have something called the incline in Colorado Springs. So just in case you don't know, Colorado Springs is about 6,000, a little bit more than 6,000 feet in the air, right? So it's above the altitude. I don't know where Vegas is. Vegas is around 1,000, I believe.
There is a growing narrative among some boxing fans that Terence Crawford will dominate Canelo Alvarez, with many not even considering it a 50-by-50 fight. This has led to what some see as outright disrespect toward Canelo's accomplishments. Supporters argue that Canelo remains the best Mexican fighter of his era, a multi-division champion who has taken on some of the sport's biggest names. While Crawford is undoubtedly a special talent, dismissing Canelo outright overlooks his proven track record against elite competition. This fight, therefore, is not just about titles, but also about restoring or affirming respect within the boxing community,